Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Internet Marketing Specialist Designations webinar for today. My name is Chad Hyams. I am the voice of reason at IMSD. That's right. It just means you're supposed to listen to what I tell you, and I think that I'm always right. That's what that really comes down to. Luckily, we've been able to prove that I'm right almost all the time. It's one of those things that drives everybody else crazy. Before I get into showing you today what I've done that's right, that we want to help you do that's right, let's talk a little bit about what IMSD even is for the people that are on the call that are joining us today that might not yet be a member of the Internet Marketing Specialist designation. We are all about hamsters. That's right. We are a hamster-loving group. That's what the Internet Marketing Specialist designation really comes down to. What the heck am I talking about? I'm talking about we want to make your business grow, and the hamster wheel is how it happens. That's right. You have one of three challenges we find, and that is generating traffic, capturing the leads, and or converting the leads. You might have all three of those as a challenge. You might only find one of those as a challenge to you when it comes to internet lead generation. We are here to help get that hamster wheel spinning for you in so many different categories. That's right. Whether it's social media and different topics in the world of social media, whether it's SEO, blogging, Craigslist, paid advertising, follow-up systems like the 10 Days of Pain created through the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation Program, we are here for you. For those of you who are already members of IMSD, congratulations. We know it has made a difference in your business because you keep telling us it has. For those of you not yet members of the Internet Marketing Specialist designation, by the time I'm done with you today, when you say, oh my gosh, I want more of that, you just go to imsd.net, as you can see it on your screen, and we're going to give you a discount. That's right. Use the promo code PROVEN. We're going to save you $200 on getting yourself registered. That's enough of that. That is enough about that. What we want to get into is what we're all here for today, and that is post and pray. That's right. Folks, we don't mean any disrespect to those of you who are out there praying on a regular basis. We actually understand that most people, when they go to post something online to generate business, sadly, this is their marketing plan. They post and then they pray. Oh gosh, I hope it works. And we're going to help you by the time we're done with today, turn that pray, P-R-A-Y, into pray, P-R-E-Y. That's right. We're going to take your business to the next level through the tips, tactics, strategies we're going to share with you on this webinar today. Here we go. I've got a question for each and every one of you. What are people out there going online looking for? Let's start with buyers. Buyers that are going on the internet. And folks, just so you know, 88% of internet traffic related to the world of real estate are buyers. What are they looking for when they go online? Let us know. Type it in. Let's see what ideas you've got for us. I've got homes. I've got homes for sale. I got information. I got houses, 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 houses. The how-to to buy. Absolutely. Listings, price, information, pictures, pictures, pictures. Absolutely. Whoever's hitting on that. Now we're getting into even some more stuff like the community, school information, market value. Absolutely. Here's what we think at the Internet Marketing Specialist designation is a huge chunk of the things they're looking for. They're looking for homes. We know that's first and foremost. 41% of all buyers, step one is to go online and look for properties now, specifically for properties. They're looking for neighborhood information, school reports, absolutely, unique home attributes, the home buying process, great deals. Notice the thing not up there, folks. You. That's right. They're not looking for you. And thankfully, I don't think anybody actually typed that in, being that self-centered. Let's look at it on the other side now. What about sellers? Because sellers do still go online. What are they looking for when they go online? Let me know what you think sellers are looking for when they go online. They're looking for buyers. Yeah, absolutely, aren't they? They are looking for home value, home value, home value, how to sell their home, testimonials, the reputation of the person. Absolutely, they are looking for that, aren't they? We believe they're looking for the value of their home. They're looking for market reports, aren't they? What's going on in my community? What's going on in my area? Things have changed. Pre-listing tips before they even think about getting the home on the market. What should they do, not do, and worry about? And boy, isn't this one they always ask, when's the best time to sell? wait, maybe I shouldn't sell right now because the weather's getting nice. Maybe I shouldn't sell right now because the holidays are coming. Maybe I should wait. Maybe there's a better time. Good luck playing the stock market, folks, because that's what you're doing when you're looking for the best time to sell, and you all know it. And of course, they're looking for financial options. Maybe they're in a short sale position. Maybe they're looking for owner carry because they want to make some money off the sale of their home. Who knows what they're looking for? Where are they looking? Well, we've already started to answer that question, haven't we? We've answered that question just by being here on this webinar. We understand that where they're looking is online. Folks, 52% of home buyers today start their research online. I've already told you 41% of them are looking for properties. The other 11% are looking for what they should be looking for. They don't even know what to look for. They go online to look for information, figuring out what first step will be. And interestingly enough, real estate related searches on Google have grown 253% over the past 4 years. Don't tell me they're not going there, folks. Don't tell me they're not going to Google, the top search engine, to do their real estate related searches. They'll end up on other sites looking for other information when they just want to look at certain things, yet Google is still their go-to source when they are out there looking to find out important information. So why is this good for us? Well, I know why it's good for me. My goal here today is to find out why is it good for you and to share with each and every one of you how to make the most of it. Well, by them going on Google and looking for things, we know that it delivers the info where and when they want it. Nothing worse than that phone call from the person who calls you when you're unavailable. Maybe it was family time. Maybe you chose that was the time to finally go to a movie. Maybe you were just busy with another client and they want information right then, right there. You can't give it to them. Where do they go? Someone else. Oh, gosh. If they go to Google, though, the information is there when and where they actually want it to be. And we know they're probably doing it at ungodly hours, aren't they? Because they're doing their best to avoid you. It brands you as the local expert. That's right. If you have enough signs in one community, people drive through a community and say, wow, this person must be the expert. Cheryl must dominate this neighborhood driving through it because I see her signs everywhere. You know what? If you were to go on Google and they were to keep finding you and your information, well, you're the local expert. It also gives us long shelf life. That's right. Every posting we make can give us long shelf life. Undetermined shelf life apps, actually. Now, Craigslist, think about it in your area. What's your shelf life in Craigslist? I've seen it go anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, and people are excited when it gets that long of a shelf life on a Craigslist posting. When it comes to a real posting that we're going to talk about today, it's got long shelf life, longevity, and if put together correctly, can last forever. And it's inexpensive. Inexpensive. Time is very valuable, isn't it? There's not a lot of expense. Our time is value. So when we do one post, we want to make sure we make the most out of it. We want to make sure we turn it into something that's going to turn us into the long shelf life neighborhood expert, giving them the information when and where they want it. I want this to no longer be your strategy online. Oh, I'm going to post something and Google, please post it and have other people find it for me. Google, please, I worship, I sacrifice, I do whatever at your feet. No, it doesn't work that way, folks. We do not want you praying anymore. We want you changing that vowel and praying. That's right. We want you to turn it to P-R-E-Y, and we're going to show you how, when, and where. So what are we talking about? When we're talking about a post, we're talking about one simple concept, and that's the concept of a blog. How many of you currently blog? And when I say blog, I say that meaning regularly. Blogging once a year is not considered regularly. Blogging every 6 months because you remember, oh yeah, I was on a webinar and some guy told me I should blog, and you go and you blog and you forget it until the next one. That's not regular. I'm getting some once or twice a week. I'm getting 3 and 4 times a week from some people. I'm going to start, I swear, I'm getting, nope, here to just flat out admit it. Don't do it. So why do we blog? We blog for one purpose. I have friends that are going to be on this call that are not going to like this answer. We don't blog for comments and conversation. We blog to generate traffic to our lead capture device. That's it, folks. That's the reason to blog, to generate traffic to your lead capture device. The whole goal is blogging so Google reads it, not so all of my friends read it and tell me how great it was I wrote it. The goal is Google reads it, because where do people go to find their information? They go to Google. And if we can make sure our blog is found on Google and our blog is well written, our blog can generate traffic to our lead capture device. It is not to whine and journal about our lives. It's important to let people know who you are. Understand that. That's not the main reason to blog. Let your personality come through in your blog posting for information. Let your personality be shared now and then with a blog about something special that you do or a passion that you have. Because, folks, wouldn't you prefer to work with people who share a passion that you have? If you're a skier, don't you want to be with other skiers so that you have something to talk about when you're stuck in the car for that long? If you love dogs, don't you want other people that love dogs that you work with? Because aren't cat people just strange? Absolutely. Comments and other people to engage with your information, that's for Facebook, not your blog post. Your blog post is to generate traffic to your lead capture device. Now, I've got some questions that pop in right now that say, well, wait, what do you even mean by that? What's my lead capture device? That's your website. That's hopefully your IDX website for buyers, because then they're going to look for properties similar to the one maybe you blogged about or the community you blogged about, and then they have to register. Maybe that's a site dedicated specifically for a certain topic, a certain community, for your sellers, whatever it might be. At the Internet Marketing Specialist designation, we talk about how many different websites you need and how to build each one of those websites to make it make the most sense. So your blog post is going to drive traffic to whichever one of your lead capture sites you possibly want. You're going to want to figure out how many websites you need, where to build those websites and host those websites, and we show you all of that through the many IMSD classes. Now let's move into taking this post and not just praying. That's right. We're going to take a post and we're not going to just pray. If I were going to ask you right now to blog for me, if I wanted you to go blog right away, what's the one topic you would blog about first? What would you blog about first? Let me know. Don't think about it too much. Neighborhood. How to sell a house. Local community stuff. Best Buy in my target market today, my area, community reports, community activity, low inventory that's happening right now, shortage of homes, something that's happening in my community, the value of your home. I'm sharing these things with you so you understand what other people are writing, folks. And the reason I just shared these is now everyone's got at least 4 or 5 options. Thanks to the things shared by the people who just typed things in for me and my screen's blowing up, I just grabbed a few of them and shared them back with you. You don't have an excuse to not blog now because you don't know what to blog about. We just gave you 5 things, bam, just like that. Now, what we're going to say is the best place to start is with a market report. That's right. The best place to start is with a market report. And you can see, for example, the simple title of our blog post. Again, let me be clear on this. The purpose of a blog is to generate traffic to my lead capture device. It's not to have some cute, fun title. So stop with your fancy-dancy titles you're coming up with that are really cutesy-wootsy, and you're hoping people are reading them because they're not. The only people reading those are your co-workers, your family, and your friends. Google isn't realizing what it's about. So start with the title of your blog post and title it correctly. You want more information on how your blog post ranks on the first page of Google? Join us in the IMSD program for our blogging session. We have a full hour dedicated just to make sure you know what to blog about and how to get it to rank on page 1 of Google. That's not what we're covering today. Today we're covering you've blogged, stop praying, because we're going to show you how to make the most of each blog post. Here's my market report. You can build this through your IDX provider, I'm hoping. Whether you're using something like Market Leader or one of the other IDX programs that's out there, you should be able to build a simple market report. Within the market report, not only do we have information, statistics, numbers, graphs, all that stuff that people want to see, we've also got call to action. If you ever write a blog post that does not have a call to action in there, you just wasted your time. Your call to action could be search for homes on my website. There's a link to drive traffic. It could be to get community reports on my website. There's your link to drive traffic. Email me, driving traffic to your lead capture. What's better lead capture than them giving you an email address by emailing you? Call me. Well, even better, picking up the phone. Let's talk in person. And connect with me on social media. Yeah, that's okay if you want to have them follow you on Twitter now, drive them to your Facebook account, see what other people have said about you on Yelp, all the other social media sites that are out there that you could be using. Feel free. Work them into your blog, because if your blog doesn't have a call to action, you just wasted time. And if you're sitting here watching this already, you're not a time waster. You're someone looking to gather information to take everything to the next level. Let's take this to the next level. There's my blog post. All right? I'm going to shrink it down for you. I'm going to make this screen start to explode with information. I hope you keep up. I hope this makes sense, because here we're going to do. We've written our blog post. Congratulations, we're done. Webinar's over. No! What are you, crazy? Not at all. There are 3 main areas that we now must add to every post we do. And those 3 areas are search, social, and systems that come into play. Well, isn't that convenient? Those are the 3 areas that we break down the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation Program into, so we can teach you how to manufacture the most traffic possible. We'll get into each one of these as we take this blog post and start to explode it. Yet when we have a blog post, we can't just post it on our blog site and walk away from it. Whether you're using something like Active Rain and you just create the blog post, you can't just post it and walk away from it and hope you're done. Whether you're using something like WordPress, you can't just post it and walk away from it. There's more you have to do to it. Don't wait on someone else to be doing that for you. Let's take our blog post here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a YouTube video. That's right, folks. Get in front of the camera. You don't want to be in front of the camera? You're doing a voiceover. That's okay. Just make sure there's something going on. Folks, you're going to talk to the client sooner or later. They're going to hear your voice. They're going to see what you look like. It's okay to get in front of the camera right now. Let's start with search, because search is the key area. And what are we going to do with search? First, we're going to use YouTube. That's right. Who owns YouTube? Google. What's the best search engine out there? Google. How often do YouTube videos show up on page 1 of Google, leapfrogging other things that are out there? All the time. First of all, we're going to make a video on YouTube that we're going to embed into our blog. That's important. Then we're also going to be driving traffic using YouTube. I'm not going to get into the exact specifics on how to make it happen. We've got a whole class dedicated to YouTube. Google Plus and authorship. Yeah, Google Plus. He said it. Now, how do I use Google Plus, Chad? Isn't that just another Facebook? No. Google Plus is owned and run by Google. Why would you not be posting everything you do on Google Plus using your keywords? Because Google reads its own social site. Folks, it's not really a social site. Don't go on there and tell me what you did this weekend for fun. Don't go on there and tell me about your favorite movie. People don't care. Go on there and tell me what you want Google to hear and you want people to engage with, like learning about their neighborhood. Show your passions. And please set up Google authorship. I'm not going to get into the details on how to set up Google authorship with you right now because that would take too long because you're all using different platforms to work from. I still want you to go set up Google authorship. You want to know the best way to do it for yourself? Go Google authorship. Make sure that you are using it so that when people are finding your blog post on page 1, your pretty little picture shows up beside it, and people are actually, we are seeing studies shown that people are skipping the top 2 and 3 results that usually get 61% of all the clicks, and they are jumping down to the one with the picture and engaging with you there. Now, another session that we talk about other than search, where we get into blogging and paid advertising and organic SEO, is we get into the world of social. And we talk about all the different social platforms that are out there and how you should be then promoting on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, yes, even on Pinterest. Can I give a quick Pinterest session? Can I go off book? Stop using it except once a month. Go in there and post the video or the image from every blog post you have. You never know who might find it. Make sure you are taking the opportunities that social media provides for you. Stop selling me listings. That's not what we're talking about. Going on there, make sure you know whether this is a personal or a business page on Facebook that you should be using, who should be tweeting this, what you should be saying, what hashtag should be involved, what about LinkedIn, how often should you be putting it there, what's the best way to get it on LinkedIn. All of those things we cover in our social section, yet that should be step 2 in your posting and pray world, is the social world of it. Oh my gosh, now it's time to add in systems. Is anybody getting confused yet? We can't take this blog post and just hope. No, we have to hit the world of search. We have to hit the world of social. Now we're going to hit the world of systems. And in the world of systems, we're talking about our email blasts that we send out to people, because you send those, right? We're talking about our newsletter because you have one of those, right? We're talking about a targeted email, maybe to people who live in a certain neighborhood, people who have raised their hand as wanting to buy homes in a certain price range, whatever our target for our email is that we're putting together with this post. And then, of course, Craigslist, because you know you want to get that information out there. And Craigslist is a powerful and free way to do it. Do you have a system for each one of these things? Do you have an email blast system? Do you have a newsletter system? Do you have a targeted email system? And do you have a Craigslist system? If you don't, you need to learn them and you need to add them to your business. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. What about organic growth? That's right. Because we did social correct, we can get ourselves some social media likes and shares. Because you know the whole goal, right? You post something, someone likes it or shares it, and now their friends, followers see it. And now you're growing your sphere of resources. What about forwarded newsletters? What about if you send your newsletter to someone and they said, oh my gosh, you know who needs to see this? My friend who's talking about buying or selling. Bam, they forward it. Now other people are receiving your newsletter, registering for your newsletter, gathering information that you are the expert because you've been the one who posted it. And now, magically, they all help each other. If you're missing out on any one of these pieces, you need more training in these pieces. That's what we're here for at the Internet Marketing Specialist designation, to help you learn how to use each and every one of these pieces. Now, you'd think I'm done, wouldn't you? You'd say, hey, that's enough, Chad. Oh my gosh, I'm already hurting. I thought all I had to do was write a blog. When I was one of the people who raised my hand and said, yes, I write blogs regularly. Yes, I post on Active Rain. Yeah, I do all that stuff, Chad. Do you really now? Now when I ask you to do your blog, do you really? Or are you just hit and run? Are you posting and pray? Are you running away from it thinking, oh, well, I've done enough, I blogged? Or are you actually doing all of the stuff that you need to do? That's right. You know what I just got from a few people who are typing in? I got ouch. I got, oh, well. I got, correct. Because you wrote a blog and you said, yes, I'm a blogger. You're not a blogger. You're a realtor who blogs. To be a realtor who blogs, you need to expose that blog to as many people as possible and not rely on it just being found because you prayed for it to bring you business because you heard someone else did. It's time to pray with the E, not the A. Now let's get even more detailed, folks. Let's look at blogging blueprint. That's right. Let me ask you this. How many of you want to be creating leads a year from now still? How many of you want to be creating leads a year from now still? If you don't, get off this webinar and go do whatever it is you think you're going to do. If you want business long term, and yes, Mona, 20 years will still work for us too. We're happy to have people who are looking bigger picture. Let's break down our blogging blueprint. Let me show you how one blog that you're going to post properly now and you're going to market properly can become multiple. There's our market report. Remember it? Remember our little market report? It's so little again. There it is. That's right. We're going to bring in tons of business from that, right? No, we're not. We're not. And you know the worst thing about this market report is it's out of date next month. That's why it's got to be an easy market report to put together each and every month so that you can keep sharing that information. This is not going to be the one that brings you tons of business. You could maybe write one for all the communities around you. Think about it. Are there lots of communities in your area? Then write a market report for each one. Pull those statistics and those numbers. You're doing the numbers anyway because you're doing listing appointments, right? And you're doing CMAs, right? And because you're doing that, you're already running the numbers, right? Might as well turn it into a market report blog. Ooh, who just got the light bulb? Who just hit it and went, oh my gosh, I've been doing CMAs for listing appointments all the time, and then I throw that paperwork away if they don't list with me. And if they list with me, I price the home. You just did all the homework for a market report. Make sure you're pulling all that stuff together. Now let's take this to the next level. So you've got a market report. And your market report's going to link to your city, website, blog, whatever it might be. We were using Redmond because that's where we're based, so we're going to say you link your market report to your Redmond real estate blog post, right? Whatever I'm blogging about. It's my hub. It's my information. It's what it's like to live in Redmond. I'm giving them information about it, and my market report shares information and links us back and forth. Let's blow it up a little bit. Let's emerald this and take it up a notch. Bam! Absolutely. What do we do now? Instead of just writing a long blog about life in Redmond, because some of you can write and talk and talk and talk, what we want you to do is we want you to create lots of hyperlocal posts that all go back to that one blog. You're going to have a blogging ecosystem in place around your Redmond, Washington area for us. You're going to now create school reports, home categories that are in the area, local events, local businesses, best places to work, things like that. You know what? These are all the things you told me earlier when you talked about making sure I asked what we should blog about. You told me blog about schooling information. That's what they're looking for. Local events that are going on, local businesses in the area. You know this stuff. Why aren't you creating those blogs that all link back to your Life in Redmond blog, in our example here, and you're generating traffic to each other? Now, congratulations, because you did that. You just got a listing in the area because you've been working your neighborhood. You've been working Redmond like crazy, and boom, You just got a listing. So what's the first thing you should do with your listing? Oh, maybe I should blog about it. Right. Do you know why? Because it's being taken from you and sold back to you as marketing anyway by so many third-party websites. Oops, did I say that? Okay, let's keep going. You want to make sure you're blogging about your listing. And then include a link so people can search for properties just like that one on your website. Oh, what's that called? That's called generating traffic to my lead capture device. Absolutely. And the blog post should also lead back towards my Redmond blog because I'm sharing information about the community. Now let's move that down the screen a little bit, and let's add in, because I took a listing, I spent a few extra minutes running around the whole neighborhood and the subdivision. I took pictures of everything. I grabbed some information about it. So now I'm making sure I can blog post about the neighborhood or the subdivision. I've got a general feel for what's going on. So now not only do I have my listing, I have my neighborhood and my subdivision driving back to my whole Redmond blog. Now I've got my Redmond blog that's talking about all the information in Redmond, the home categories, the market reports, the school reports, the local businesses, the places to work, the local events, and all of that is being driven by a specific neighborhood blog that all the information is built into. Well, let's explode that, because in my neighborhood, in my subdivision, there are different builders. Should I be writing about the builders? Yes. Especially now that new home building is going to be on the rise again. If you've got certain builders building in your area, write about them. What about the recreation center that's in that area? What about the parks and the trails that are in that area? Do you think people want to know about those? Say yes. Now, each of these blog posts must be at least 300 words. Oops, I'm giving them another little tip out of the IMSD classes from the blogging lessons that they're going to want to learn. If you're not saying at least 300 words, Google's not paying any attention to you. There's a tip. Start speaking more. 100 words about how wonderful your listing is. You didn't blog, you just marketed. And Google doesn't pay attention to marketing unless you're paying them. Now, all of these link back to your neighborhood posts when we're talking about the recreation center, because that's about what's going on in the neighborhood. The parks and the trails, that's what's going on in the neighborhood. The listing, that's what's going on in the neighborhood. The builders, that's what's going on in the neighborhoods. You know what just happened? You now dominate this neighborhood on Google. If someone goes in there and they're searching for stuff on this neighborhood, who are they going to find? You. That's right, Lynn. That's right, Jim. It's you they're going to find. They're going to see your information about the rec center, about the parks and trails, about the listings, about the builders, and about other things in the neighborhood because you put it all together. Notice how you've just created a micro version of our big Redmond one. So Redmond, we're talking about the market report, the home categories, the school report. Now we've got the specific subdivision, the specific neighborhood. Well, what schools does it feed into? We've got a little mini version of the exact same thing. See the connection, how it all goes together? We've got lots of little neighborhoods in our city or community. With all this exposure, now not only are we becoming an expert in the city and community, we're already an expert in our neighborhood, and because of that, folks, well, you just got another listing. That's right, this one just happened to be in a condo complex. You took a smaller listing on this one. It's okay. Any listing's a good listing. So you took a condo listing now. Now, you've learned the lesson because you've said, well, wait a minute, I learned not to just post and pray. I want to post and turn it into pray. So since I'm in there and I've got my listing, I'm going to write about the condo complex. Well, not only am I going to write about the condo complex, I'm going to write about the HOA. I'm going to write about amenities like the dog park, the pool that it's got. I'm going to write about nightlife in the area near the condo complex. I'm going to write about transportation because so many people that live in condo complexes still take the bus or get other places through their bike or whatever it might be. So I'm going to bring it all together because you are leveraging your one little listing. Do you see how any listing sets off a chain reaction? Every listing you take sets off a chain reaction. Wait, look at it from the other side. What if you sold a buyer a property in a neighborhood? Could it set off the same chain reaction? Absolutely. Instead of a listing, it's a sold. And you're going in there and you're writing about that, and you're writing about the neighborhood, and you're writing about the builders, and you're writing about the rec center, and you're writing about the park trail, or you're writing about the community, and you're writing about the nightlife that goes on. Why? Because the buyer already trusts you. So if you're sharing that information, they're going to become reliant upon you and that information. And remember you when it's time to move on, move to the next level, take it up a notch, refer their friends, whatever it might be. Now, we're not done here, right? We got to go one more level. That's right, and that next level is your real estate services, because you do have those, don't you? You've got to make sure that you're also connecting your city or community to the best realtor in the city and the community. Well, who's the best realtor in the city and community? You! That's right. You are. And what are the things that people ask? They've got their FAQs. Folks, I want you to think about it like this. If you've ever worked with more than one buyer, has two of them ever asked you the same question? Yes, of course they have. Well, why do I need to get an inspection? Why is an appraisal a part of the transaction? Why does it really matter if I'm willing to pay this? They've got things. Sellers, did they ask you the same questions? Yes. Is this the best time of year to sell? We talked about that, didn't we? How should I look to figure out to price my home? What is all this stuff? Common buyer questions and common seller questions. You should be creating that information as well and driving people from it. Now, these all go to and through each other. You could have arrows all over the screen that would confuse you from the listing to the condo complex. Well, that could jump you right over to the common seller questions. From the listing in the neighborhood and the subdivision to builders, that could take you right to common buyer questions. And seller questions. Well, how do I compete with the builder in my area? Which builder do I want to buy from? Which of the upgrades are actually worth the money and which ones are they ripping me off on? All of these things can link and create to each other, and everything you do will explode into another handful of blog posts. So for those of you who couldn't come up with something to blog about, you should have hundreds of things to blog about. Think about your neighborhood. Think about the questions you get asked. Think about the properties, the communities, the things to do, the places to eat, the places to hang out. Think about when someone comes to visit you and they say, what should I do in your area while I'm here? What are the first three things you always tell them to do? Go blog about them. Now, of course, folks, you want your blogs to rank #1. You want your blogs to exceed everybody else. You want your information to be found by the powerhouse Google. And with that, you need to come learn how to do it. Because right now, how many of you are doing this? How many of you are now panicked? You're now, oh my gosh, my head hurts, Chad. I came on this webinar thinking you were going to be nice and you were going to tell me that all I had to do was blog a little more regularly and maybe you were going to give me a tip or two. Now I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't do anything. You're right. Sorry. Voice of reason. I didn't say voice of kindness. Your blog posts that you write, because you do write them at least, if you just write them and leave them, you're wasting a lot of time and effort. The time and effort it takes you to write them, add in time for marketing them. Explode those. Make sure your blog posts are being written correctly. Please figure out how to write them correctly. Because what I want is I want you to start moving forward. This takes time, folks. I'm not thinking you're going to get off this webinar, go grab your first listing, and write 85 blogs about the things that go on in the area. That's okay. You have things to be blogging about. Let me ask you a question, and it's going to sound silly. In the last week, how many of you went out for dinner? How many of you went out for dinner in the last week? Yeah. Anybody get the light bulb while you're answering that question? Because I'm getting yeses 5 times, twice, multiple times. Yep. Blog about where you went. Don't go write about a review. That's great. Yelping is fantastic. You should do that too. Thank you, Byron, for being the first person to say blog about the great food. Blog about the restaurant you went to. Blog about the show you went to see. Blog about the nightclub you danced at after or the local watering hole you went to grab a drink. Blog about it. Did you go golfing in the last week? Anybody say, wow, the weather was really nice where I am. I'm going to break out the clubs. Blog about the course. That's 18 blogs right there, isn't it? One for each hole. Blog about where you went for dinner. Blog about what you did over the past weekend with your family. Blog about what you're going to do over the next weekend with your family. Blog about the holiday things that are going to happen in your area and happen each and every year. It's so easy. Now the question that comes on is, how often should we be blogging? Every day? You should blog regularly. If you can blog every day, you should blog every day. That doesn't mean you have to write one every day. You could write 5 on Sunday while you're sitting around watching sports and post one every day of the week. Keep that in mind. And now take post and pray, and you're going to be able to turn it to post and pray. That's right. Set the trap for them. Let them find your information because they're going on Google anyway. Let it be you they're finding because you're writing about all this stuff. You become the expert. And then the purpose of blogging is clear: to drive traffic to your lead capture site. And you can snap the teeth on them. I want to remind you that on April 30th, we're going to start our new series on IMSD. And if you're saying, holy moly, I need more of this stuff, I need someone who's actually going to tell me what I should be doing because it's proven, instead of somebody who's saying, hey, you should check out this app because it's really fun, and you should check out this program because it's really fun, and oh wait, the app I told you about last week, yeah, no one's using that anymore, move on already, gosh, you're so not with it. No, you need a program like IMSD. Check it out at imsd.net. Use the code PROVEN. That'll be good only until April 29th to get you into the program and save you $200.